Bruce Lee, a legendary martial artist and film star, was undoubtedly an icon of physical prowess and strength. However, some believe that his abilities went far beyond humanly possible. With lightning-fast reflexes, inhuman strength, and seemingly supernatural agility, many believe that Bruce Lee was truly superhuman. In this video, we will examine the evidence that supports this claim and explore the incredible feats that made Bruce Lee a true legend. Here we begin. He was too fast for cameras of the time to film. Bruce Lee's movements were so quick that cameras couldn't capture them, requiring the footage to be slowed down. However, what people often overlook is the coolest part of the story. When faced with this challenge on the set of The Green Hornet, Lee realized that all the fight scenes showed him standing still while his opponents fell over. The show's producer didn't want a sidekick with supernatural abilities, so he asked Lee to slow down his movements. Lee complied, but his action still appeared as a blur on the screen. That's right, Lee was so lightning fast that he had to slow down just to be visible as a blur. This is the first time someone could describe an individual as a blur without referring to an obese person scarfing down food. He was too strong for regular heavybacks. Bruce Lee wasn't just a martial arts icon, he was also a master of fitness. He used custom-built exercise machines his close friend James Lee created, some of which were made out of sheer necessity. One such machine was his massive heavyback, which was no ordinary sack of sand. Clocking in at a whopping 300 pounds, it was filled with metal, not to show off, but because a lighter one couldn't handle Lee's powerful kicks without breaking. Legend says that Lee kicked the bag so hard that he caused a guy to get whiplash. And while some stories claim he could kick it right through the ceiling, the truth is a bit murkier. One thing's for sure though, this guy was a force to be reckoned with. The Dragon Flag. Bruce Lee was a man possessed when it came to his fitness regime. His unbridled dedication to physical conditioning was legendary, and he would even watch TV while performing the splits. Talk about multitasking. But what sets him apart was his relentless focus on developing a strong core, which he believed was critical to mastering martial arts. And to achieve this, he invented the Dragon Flag, a grueling exercise that has since become a legend. Sylvester Stallone immortalized the movie in Rocky IV, but Lee took it to another level entirely. With only his shoulders touching the edge of a bench, he would hold his body perfectly horizontal and rigid, defying gravity and any semblance of human limitation. Imagine the terror of facing him in the ring, knowing that he was capable of such superhuman feats. You might be tempted to flee, perhaps even by ripping a hole in the fabric of time and space just to avoid the inevitable pummeling at Lee's hands. His kicks literally sent people flying through the air. Bruce Lee was a man of incredible strength and skill, capable of feats beyond most people's imagination. Despite this, he rarely displayed his sheer power, as he could injure others simply by standing too close to them. However, Bruce did have a favorite trick up his sleeve, his training shield. He would often have people hold it while he delivered a kick, and the power of his blows was such that he could send them flying to the air. In fact, undertakers had pre-inscribed tombstones with a warning about his kicks. So it's no wonder that with such power, some might imagine Bruce as a heavenly bodyguard. Catching rice with chopsticks. Do you remember that iconic Karate Kid scene where Pat Morita tries to catch a fly with chopsticks? And then maybe Ralph Macchio does it? Well, Bruce Lee takes it to a whole new level. Legend has it that he was so obsessed with improving his lightning-fast reflexes that he would toss grains of rice into the air and try to snatch them on their way down. Because, mastering the art of catching small objects raining down from above is clearly the key to defending yourself against hulking attackers. But the sheer dexterity and skill required to pull off this stunt is mind-boggling. It's no wonder that Bruce Lee's fists were permanently clenched, lest his mere presence caused nearby women's hips to spontaneously detach from their bodies and run towards him. Okay, maybe that's a slight exaggeration, but you get the point. This guy was in a league of his own. You literally couldn't punch him. Being the king of fighting and a huge celebrity, Bruce Lee often found himself being challenged to street fights by people who were either brave or just plain stupid. However, Bruce knew that fighting random strangers served no purpose and often shrugged them off. But when his challengers insisted, he got nasty. There were only 3 verified times when Lee was challenged to a fight. In each case, his opponents failed miserably as he was simply too fast for them to even land a hit. During one such challenge on the set of Enter the Dragon, Bruce deftly avoided every blow, locked his opponent against the wall, and gave him a lesson. It may seem illogical to teach a street fighter how to better beat people up, but who are we to question the ways of Bruce Lee and his ghost army? He could grab a coin out of your hand and replace it with another coin. Bruce Lee was so fast that if he were in a race against lightning, he'd come in second just because he wanted to show off. One of his most impressive feats of speed was his ability to snatch a coin from your hand. Lee would place a coin in your open hand and stand a few feet away, then instruct you to close your palm as soon as you saw him move. But when you saw the blur of Lee's movement, your hand would close around empty air. You then feel the weight of the coin in your palm and open your hand, only to find a different coin placed there by Lee in less than a second. It was a party trick that left most people in awe, and some with exploding hands out of frustration. No wonder Lee died young. He experienced time twice the rate normal people do. If there was a Guinness World Record for the fastest human ever, Lee would hold it by a country mile. He once dislocated a guy's shoulder with a slap. When showing off Bruce Lee's superhuman powers, why settle for beating up regular people when you can outclass a trained martial artist? Bruce required special training equipment to cope with his power, but he occasionally sparred and trained with those foolish enough to stand within kicking distance. Spoiler alert, that distance was any country Bruce Lee was currently in. During one of these training sessions, Bruce dislocated a guy's arm with what he considered a light slap. When confronted, he was genuinely confused. What would happen when he hit someone at full force? It's mind-boggling to think Bruce was so much stronger than regular people that he could dislocate their shoulders with a slap. No wonder he's a legend. One-finger push-ups and one-arm pull-ups, as well as the one-inch punch. How many push-ups can you do? If you're not pumping them out with the force of 1,000 suns, you're not quite up to Bruce Lee's standards. The martial arts legend was notorious for showing off during his training, and one of his favorite party tricks was the one-finger push-up. Yep, you heard that right. One finger. Bruce did it to flex his muscles and show off his insane strength. Meanwhile, your party trick is probably just pulling a quarter out of someone's ear. But Bruce's physical prowess did not stop at his fingers. He also could do one-arm pull-ups like it was no big deal, with some sources claiming he could crank out a staggering 50 in one go. Sure, other people could do it too, but it's not like they had Bruce's chiseled physique to show off while doing it. But wait, the thing is not over yet. In rare footage, Lee demonstrates his power by breaking a wooden board with his punch, sending wood splinters flying everywhere. And surprisingly, Lee wasn't just using his powers to show off. He also believed in passing his knowledge onto the younger generation. There are stories of him using his one-inch punch on inner-city school kids, teaching them to be strong and self-confident. So if you ever encounter a kid with a killer punch, you might want to think twice before messing with them. What do you think of this evidence suggesting Bruce Lee was Superman? Comment below and subscribe for more.